Not as
You're
ready
never,
as you're going
you're,
to be, eh?
you're
I
never
mean, yeah,
ready.
ready
You're
is really relative at this moment,
Ready
honestly.
is relative.
Ready
you're
is
ne-
really
I don't know. Ready
honestly.
is Yeah, okay. I heard me.
You make sound.
I hear everybody. Yeah,
I
well, I
make
heard me
sound.
and you. So,
I make
That
sound.
works. Yes, occasionally I do. Welcome everybody. Back for another installment of the Reign of Masters. Um, Last week we did a prison break, and this is life after lockup. Um, which was a very close second episode title, um, but it seemed too silly. Um, you all were able to abscond with captives and prince in disguise from a location under Wrigley Field that is not on any official blueprints and seem to have been operated in secret, sealing the denizens of of the lower levels down below Wrigley Field with some fancy tech rolls to one of their elevators did limit their ability to follow you. You all also had prepared yourselves quite well and managed to escape relatively unharmed, though you were exposed to the red mist briefly. But you now know the pain and danger that it presents. Now, um, as we pick back up tonight, it has been a couple of nights from the last evening's events. There is one of you that received a note in her art gallery mailbox pertaining to a coffee date, and that is first thing this evening. So, we
wow,
will.
that sounds stressful for you, Egret.
Uh
Right?
huh. Yep. Egret's actually off the chopping block tonight with her normally the person that gets thrown into the demonic realm first thing. We actually will be starting at Mercy's place as she wakes up. Everybody, rouse for me! Rouse!
Oh,
What?
storyteller.
Yes.
Um,
You had a hunger
if
thing.
I hunted during my nights in between, did my hunger go down to 1?
Yes, yes. That was just for the purposes of that evening. So yes, you did not do not maintain the hunger penalty. Ooh,
Well,
couple.
I'm back up to 2 anyway.
Well, life is that fickle
Life's hunger.
sometimes. Life is hunger. Yep, hunger and fear, and then we either end or
So,
don't.
so I have a question. Should I read into that the only people that failed are the two Toreadors? Should I read
Yeah.
into that?
I mean, there's some stuff on the docket for you guys tonight too, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Everything's fine.
Everything is awesome. Um, so, Mercy, we arrive. You have awoken from your preternatural slumber. You are aware of the date, aware of what is happening tonight, should you choose to follow the offer. I mean, there is always the option that you don't. So, take that with it what you
So
will.
my apologies because you're speaking like I should know perhaps more than I feel like I do. I was invited for coffee this evening. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. You were invited for
And
coffee.
then I also have another note
No,
or
just the
another
coffee.
engagement.
No, no,
Okay.
no. Sorry. Forgive me for spooking you a little too soon. Just the
Mhm.
coffee date this evening.
Oh, okay.
Just a lovely
Wonderful.
little cuppa.
Yeah, yeah. Mercy will, presuming nothing else jumps out at her on her way, will make her way to the coffee shop, buy a cup of coffee, and take a seat next to the window.
That is all wonderful. Now, we're in the coffee shop. You're sitting there, probably not the same booth. It's a relatively busy little joint. Within 10, 15 minutes or so, you do feel the familiar air brush past you as a young woman sits across from you. She looks to be blushing with the allure of life to maintain disguise in this place. She goes, "It's so lovely to see you again, Mercy. Thank you for meeting me here."
It's always a pleasure, I'm sure. I'm happy to answer your call. What can I do for you this evening?
Oh, you know how things are these days. Lots of moving parts. The
Mm.
issues with local government, that sort of thing.
Right, right.
Um, she goes, "Actually, I think tonight is going to be a different kind of night." And she looks to those near you at the different tables, and she goes, "Give me one moment, Mercy." And she gets up and she goes over and talks to the table nearest to you, and then goes over and talks to the table a little further away from you, and a little further away. And she does this over and over again. As she does so, all of these people, after she finishes talking to them, get up and walk out. At that
Ooh.
point, she then goes over and talks to the barista, who gets kind of a look on her face and walks over to the coffee shop door, exits, flips the sign over, locks the door from the outside, and flips the lights off. You are now alone in a dark coffee shop.
Hmm.
She goes back and sits down. She goes, "Okay. Sorry, I don't intend to frighten you, but there's some important things that I don't have time to play the normal word games with tonight.
I understand.
I've been made aware that some things have happened in the recent nights. Something with the Seneschal of Chicago, as well as members of a Tremere clan. Is that correct? I don't want names. I don't want specifics. Yes or no, please."
Yes. And she'll look at her. Didn't we vaguely discuss this last time we met?
Vaguely.
Oh, okay. Yes, I believe that uh, things have happened to the Seneschal and some of the Tremere.
Okay, good. I need to know, off the record, how involved were you in this?
Off whose record?
My
If you
record.
okay. What was it you wanted to know? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
How involved were you in the exfiltration of the captives from this hunter facility?
Quite involved.
Are you a prime source? Were you there?
It was.
Can you confirm or deny that there were tests being done on the kindred that had been taken captive, including the Seneschal of Chicago.
Testing was being done. Samples of blood were collected, and hopefully, all of those things were subsequently destroyed.
That's good news. She pauses and thinks for a moment. Why were you there?
I find that myself and my coterie are often involved in things that happen in this city. In this instance, I found myself involved because perhaps you are aware, I had assisted in the Seneschal's arrival at said facility.
She stops
I
a
felt it.
moment. Once
Oh.
more.
Mhm.
If you're continuing to speak, she still listens.
Yeah. I don't know that she would. I think she will stop there, in fact.
Okay. She leans back in the chair of the coffee shop. She goes, I want to speak very plainly. I want you to know that very little judgment will be placed by me on you for the answers that you're about to give me. And I ask that in the respect of that, you provide me with very true answers, because I have many suspicions of things that are happening in this city that should not be. And I need to act quickly if I'm going to right a wrong. Do you understand?
I do understand. I would like to ask you a question in the same nature of bluntness that you are offering me this evening, if I might.
Proceed.
Because, as I'm sure you're aware, I have been up to much these nights. Who exactly do you plan to share this information and perhaps, in fact, my name with? My concern lies there, not with offering you truth, but with the ramifications of people discovering such things.
The person that I am at the behest of is the venture member of the Camarilla Inner Circle. However, that being said, officially and to the letter, I am here to ensure that the Camarillas' interests remain in charge of Chicago. My focus is the prince.
I understand. I have one more question. And she won't wait for a pause here, but I have to take a second to think.
Fair.
My activities of late, both during your investigation and since you have spoken to me last, before I thought we would not have this kind of meeting again, I have assumed a great many things, but one of those was that the person that I have been working on behalf of in this city might in fact be the same circle member that you just mentioned. Are you able to confirm or deny that for me?
She pauses for a moment and says, I'm able to confirm that the circle member has a name that begins with A, but I don't know for certain that that's with whom you've been speaking.
I understand. Then one more addition. Uh, Off the record still, yes.
Yes.
When I handed over the seneschal of the city to A and her associates, the kindred who met me there was a man named Arthur, who also worked for this A. Does that help you at all? We also met at, and sorry, I've never remembered the hotel, but she will tell her the hotel
That's
name.
fair.
And mention Graham's name as well. And say, are these perhaps associates of our mutual friend?
Her eyebrow raises when you mention Arthur.
Mm.
Tell me, Mercy, are you familiar with what an archon is?
I'm afraid not.
In my position as a Justicar, the head of the law of the Camarilla,
Sure.
below the inner circle, I'm served by several members, several kindred, that have the title of Archon. They assist me in the duties that I am tasked with carrying out.
I see.
Arthur is one of my Archons. However, he should not be in this city these nights.
That's troubling.
No, that is beneficial, because it tells me that my suspicions were true. Your prince, her claim to that seat, have you insured it at this point?
We perhaps have somebody who could ensure that claim, but I believe that that is a promise yet fulfilled on both parts.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. What I'm about to tell you remains here in this coffee shop. If I have any hint that you have expounded upon aspects of it that I'm not going to let you divulge, I will have no choice but to group you in with my judgment. Do you understand?
I understand.
I'm under the impression that your prince has a legitimate claim, and that the current seat of the Camarilla, Ventrue clan, is there erroneously, and has been doing things throughout our history to ensure that. I have reason to believe, based on the things that you've told me and the events that have happened in this city, that she is in fact plotting now to remove your prince from power and install my subordinate, Arthur, the Archon, in her place, so that she has more allies in this jewel of a city.
That aligns with what I understand of who I have assumed to this point is the circle member and the actions that I have done on their behalf and have been vaguely informed of otherwise.
Here is where things become more complicated.
Okay.
Without proof, I am bound by Camarilla law. I am bound to honor my oath and follow what I have been told. Here is the part that you can tell to those closest to you. And by closest to you, I mean including your prince, if you wish to, but I would limit it to whom you tell.
Okay.
You have approximately 2 days time. The Vintru on the High Camarilla Court, the Inner Circle. Erica has instructed me to add Magdalena to the red list and to fulfill that obligation before the end of week. Unless I am able to have proof that Magdalena, the prince of the city, also should be the member of that seat, I will have to follow through.
I see.
I also have word of my counterpart in the city, Justikar Idanza. She is to assist me on this matter. Let me be very clear. The amount of archons that are here, the 2 Justikars that are here, I know that your prince is strong, but there is little that she will be able to do with a force as overwhelming as this, and any that stand in our way of a justified action, whether or not it's true, will be marked and will be added to the list. I'm giving you this warning because I believe there is injustice here. And ultimately, that's all I care about. I additionally have concerns that an attack on the Tremere that predated the fall of London may not have been entirely without direction. And if that is the case, even though they are not our clan, an act of such violence towards fellow kindred would be looked very poorly upon. Now, for the purposes of my Archon, for the foreseeable future, I technically don't know that he is here. I do not know if he will reach out to you. I will caution you that he is very good when he puts his mind to something. That is why he was handpicked to be an Archon. He is very dangerous, especially when backed into a corner. And while I could confront him, I don't know that that's the right move, especially when I have to maintain my loyalties. Because make no mistake, I am loyal to the Camarilla.
Hear you.
Not your prince, not Erica. The Camarilla.
Did she say Erica?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. While we're sharing, what sort of inkling had you heard of my involvement of the recent changes with the Seneschal and the Tremere? Tremere? Yes, Tremere. I guess, or perhaps was there more?
You were seen exiting the facility. And I was made aware of your involvement. Erica asked me specifically to add you to the red list under Magdalena,
I see.
which is why we're having this chat off the record.
Right. Yeah.
It seems, little masters, that you are a loose end. So I would be aware of who you put your trust in. But maybe knowing that is useful for you.
Um, yes, I think it will be useful. And I appreciate this heads up. I would like to share a little bit more with you, if you have a few more minutes, about what happened in that facility, what we found, and the tools being used. Because I think, as we both sit here, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that we have both come to perhaps suspect that the person who has kidnapped and run tests on the Tremere, the Seneschal, and other things might, in fact, be the Inner Circle member. Are we on the same page?
The fear had crossed my mind that she would be foolish enough to utilize a group of hunters. Yes.
Yes. Well, I can say to you very clearly that the intermediary between myself and A, whoever A might be, was a ghoul who did speak directly with hunters tied to both and I forget the specific details, I apologize, but the connection both to the upper power of that and the new chapter that has come into the city. They employed the red mist during our attempt to escape. And they were collecting samples and running tests, not only on Kindred, but they also had a lupine in their possession. As far as we were able to find, that was it.
What was the name of the ghoul?
Graham.
Older
Oh,
gentleman?
he's a ghoul, right? Yes,
Yes,
an
he
older
was.
gentleman.
He was a ghoul.
Large mustache.
You have proof that he communicated with hunters?
I have eyewitnesses.
Eyewitnesses. Would these
That's
eyewitnesses be willing to confirm this information?
I have very little doubt that they would be willing. Yes.
Under threat of final death, should they be found to be lying?
Oh, I'm confident that they.
Clarify.
My confidence holds.
Do you have any other proof tying this ghoul or A to this hunter organization? Because the way it was portrayed to me was that the prince of this city allowed an entire group of kindred to be captured and experimented on, thus warranting the need for removal under the red list. But if you can confirm and verify proof of these very dangerous accusations, that in fact that is fabricated, and that the Inner Circle member potentially is the one working with the hunter group to usurp power from the prince of the Chicago city, that would be very important to know.
I am certain that we can tie Graham and Albert. Oh, that's Arthur, sorry. Graham and Arthur, I can do it. To the hunters, to the kidnapping of the seneschal, and to then the underground facility where the others were being held and tested. I have only my word against theirs that they have before said they were working for this A. I do have a letter, in fact, from maybe perhaps a few letters again from A in this sense, but the highest up that I have spoken to is Arthur, and he was directly the one, in fact, who intended to stake the seneschal for transport to the underground facility from which she has recently escaped. At the time, my understanding, both from him and from Graham, is that he was working for somebody else. Again, someone under the moniker of A, higher up the food chain than either of them. I also know that the first item, goal, task that they had asked of me was to destroy the potential evidence of Prince Master's claim to the seat in Meaner Circle.
Do you have proof of this, or is this more of your word against theirs?
This will be my word against theirs.
More reason that you need to watch your back.
Mm-hmm.
Kindred Society doesn't have witness protection.
I understand.
She, at this moment, stands up. Adjusts her coat slightly and says to you, "You have 2 days, at which time I'm sure your prince will call you back. There will be a formal hearing on this. I will need proof of these claims at that time. I don't know what your prince has, but I don't know that it is enough by itself. The more, the better." And she looks down at her wrist, at a watch, and says, "I have to go. We won't be able to speak until those nights."
Thank you.
For what? We haven't spoken.
You're
And
right.
she leaves. You hear the ding of the coffee shop door as you sit alone in a dark coffee shop.
Mm. Great. She will send a text to everybody in the group line that says, if anybody's available, I would love to have an opportunity to chat with you this evening.
I assume this is after the previous message she sent.
Yeah. This is a follow-up.
The creepy
If nothing
one?
else has been said, by the way, there.
Well, things have been
Well,
said.
everyone
You
got
just didn't
real
see them.
Go
quiet.
figure.
Everyone got real quiet. Should the audience know about that text?
I feel like this is a good point for me to clarify the text and then also clue in the audience.
Please do.
So after our last episode, last Monday, Mercy was trying to contact before she was sure whether or not people knew that she had been involved in this extraction mission. That she wasn't sure how safe the text line was still, but she had learned things that were too important to not share quickly and perhaps vaguely with her coterie, despite being unsure whether or not her communication line was safe. And so she sends a cryptic, threatening text in character of the betrayer to her friends, which says, Fee's escape changes nothing. I don't want any of you thinking the status of the city has changed. You've made your choices, and I have made mine. If you thought what you saw before was bad, you have no idea what the next nights will look like. It might be time to start shipping big wooden boxes out of the city, supposing your prince lets you leave.
Ominous.
Mm. But her friends clearly knew where she stands, and so, it's
Weren't
probably
hiding
fine.
and sharpening their knives at all.
No, yeah, I'm definitely not going, oh, is that a threat? What the fuck just happened? Yeah, no, for sure.
Do we read the response or no? You just let that be.
I don't know.
For it.
We
Yeah.
we basically said like, okay, she's pulling some shit.
When am I not?
The
Roland
consensus
played along.
was that shit was being pulled, yes.
Yes,
I believe.
Roland played along.
To that end, as you
And nothing
all
else.
awake, while this is happening simultaneously, Roland and Ygritte,
Mm.
there is just an envelope waiting for you as you open your door for the evening. A young man stands there holding an envelope, eyes glazed over. And you open the door and it seems to rouse him in some way. And he goes, for you. And hands you an envelope.
Dankeschön.
No habla, and he walks off. The envelope in question is addressed to you, Roland. It
Love it.
is from your favoritist person in the world. Let me be more clear. Annabelle.
Oh, okay.
And she says to you, I know we've had our differences, and I know that we don't always see eye to eye. But for what it's worth, I've been informed that in the next few nights, you should avoid Club Nova. As a member of Clan Toreador, you always have a home here at the Succubus Club.
He'll yell back into the house. Yep, they're gonna hit Nova.
Hmm.
I see you.
Yep, I was trying to be polite.
Braggy, as you wake up, there's a knock at your door.
Abbeys.
In your apartment at the master suite, you open the door to find Fee standing there. Actual Fee.
Oh,
Not that he would know.
You think?
Not that you would know. It looks
Thank
like
you for
Fee,
clarifying.
maybe. And she goes, "Do you have a moment to talk?"
sure, Fee. I mean, I usually do have a moment to talk. And they're really,
Do you mind if I
what's
come
going
in?
on? Sure, absolutely, yeah. Come on in.
As Fee comes in, she starts to kind of like look around your apartment, not so covertly. You haven't started working on that little project that you brought up to me the other day, have you?
Oh, no.
Good.
That's something I need to do elsewhere.
Let me rephrase. Not allowed on these premises. Okay?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
That
Just
I
making
understand.
sure.
Yeah.
Just making sure we understand one another. I've done a little more digging into the thing that is seemingly taken an interest in you. Beyond some
Ah.
local legends and some. And Mercy just realized that she forgot to tell Lucinda about the big scary.
Methuselah! God
Yeah.
motherfucking damn it!
Oh well, it's just you missed your shot. It's okay. It's fun for me. Um, I've been doing some digging, some research. Beyond some local legends around that area, it seems that whatever lives there or came from there remains dormant most of the time. It's become more active in the last couple of centuries based on the composition of the material that was retrieved. I have reason to believe that there could be more of those things. I want you to be aware that I don't think it's you specifically that it's coming after. I think you're the tie to Claymore that it's following. But I don't think it's you that it wants. If I had to guess based on what we know about the 6 and the 7 and all the other stupid numbers of Sabbat that have come to this town, there was one that was here first. One that the prince took care of that led to her rise to power. And I believe that this creature is more likely the sire of that one than Claymore, based on, again, the various compositions of things that you've let into this building and arms and limbs that have been thrown at me, severed. So, I don't want you to feel like you need to play hero and run off to try and save your friends, because I don't think it will. I don't want you to make any sorts of special backpacks to wear around, because I don't think it will help. I want you to lean into your coterie and find your place amongst these kindred.
So I'm some sort of connection to whatever this is really after, and the stepping stone is me, then Claymore, then its true target? Is that what I'm understanding here?
Maybe. I think that the creature that is stalking you all has more ties to Maggie's old killer than your creator. I think it makes perfect sense, and there is very little logical leap to assume that they were part of the same group. Claymore and Jack. One thing that I recall is that these old ones, these Methuselah, often take interest in groups of young Sabbat, steward over them, lead the next generation, if you will. And that's what this pattern would suggest to me. I think that it's entirely plausible that the 7 fires or the 6 harbingers or whatever the fuck they want to go by, well, the nuns at this point, but whatever they wanted to go by, I believe it was a group that was put together by this creature. and its systematic destruction has brought it out of its slumber. I think your sire, Claymore, was the closest thing, the closest remnant left over here that it could pinpoint. But I think that it would be foolish for you to assume that it is solely you that it is after, and not the destruction of the prince and everyone that she's ever associated with. That's how these things operate.
So, thing when it finds what it's looking for, it's going to destroy us all in the process, or after the fact, or maybe a few before.
I think that it's highly plausible that it'll attempt to pick you off one by one, if it can. I think that we're fortunate that it seems to not be devoting its entire attention to this cause. What I think is also troubling is that it's not devoting its entire attention to this cause, which makes me think there's more that is brewing under the surface, maybe literally.
What, like Labyrinth?
I don't know the labyrinth is in play. What I do know is that I was curious and pulled some local police reports. There's been several bodies that have gone missing. Vagrants, homeless. Coupled with the composition of what that one creature was made of, if these numbers line up, you're looking at 4, 5 more of those big ones. At least. And if it's breeding an army of those things, I don't know that this city can handle such another incursion, especially when we're already being pulled by the Camarilla aspect of things. We're playing games on multiple fronts, and the prince is distracted. And I think that might be what it's playing for. I want you to be on your guard. We're all children of masters here. You need to be on your guard. Lean into your coterie. Listen to them. Work with them. Don't keep them in the dark. Don't play the hero. And she puts her hands on your face, Braggy, to get your full attention. And she holds you there for a moment. And she goes, your friends are stronger with you, and you're stronger with them. Trust me, I wouldn't be alive if I didn't follow that advice.
I will lean on the coterie as much as I can, but I don't suppose there's anything I may have gleaned from looking through the police records, looking at all this stuff, any patterns, a general area we can search that might help.
That is actually kind of the concerning part of it. It's all over. It's random enough that it could not be a pattern, but it's also random enough that it seems too random. And the volume of missing is higher, statistically. The concerning aspect to me is the subtlety at which this creature of immense power is willing to play. Because if it is patient enough, we will likely do most of the work for it and be completely taken by surprise.
Well, suppose there's a few things to do. I have a feeling that we're just getting started on a path to war on all fronts, really. This stage. We're all caught in the middle, and all our enemies are around us, it seems.
Sorry, I was looking something.
Very good. I think there's no discernible pattern of area. It's all completely random throughout the city. This thing moves quickly. But I did talk to Tony.
Good.
My understanding is that it requires dirt from the land in which it was created or something to that effect to rest in.
There
Right.
are rumors and myth. The clan itself is shrouded in a lot of mystery, and as they're not really Camarilla material, we don't know much about them beyond speculation.
Well, speculation. The hope that it's accurate, I guess, are what we have to rely on here. I don't suppose there's a way we could track down anything that would have come through the city in a strange fashion like that, right? Dirt that is unusual, even for Chicago.
To sort through any sort of shipping manifests or anything like that, presuming that it was even it disclosed what was inside packages, we also have no time frame for when this happened. We're seeing evidence of this creature now, but we don't know if they planned this long in advance. We don't know if they arrived when Jack first did or a month ago. We don't know. It's more than searching for a needle in a haystack. It's like trying to find the drop of fresh water in the ocean.
Well, just thinking through all the potential trails that we might be able to track down, I suppose. To think more on that with the coterie as well. There's always a trail left behind by something, anything, whether they mean to or not. If we can track down something that can help us defeat this enemy and our others, well, short on time as we are, it's worth looking into a little bit, I suppose.
Work with your coterie. See if they have any ideas. In the meantime, I'll continue to look into things that I have time for. With being the acting head of security here, as well as the Seneschal of Chicago, it is becoming quite difficult to find the free time for my hobbies.
And you haven't heard anything from Will, by the way, have you?
I'm familiar with where Will is, but I don't know of the status. No.
Is he doing okay?
Out of an abundance of caution, Magdalena felt that he needed to rest and reprogram to some degree.
Understood.
She
His mind
was
certainly through the ringer.
that is a large problem, one that is needing to be addressed. I don't know. My hands are off of it. I've just been asked to act in his stead.
All right.
Now, I have about 1,000 things to do tonight. But one more for the road. Don't blow your hands off. And then she'll walk out.
That's I think that's what the far away, what do they call them, tweakers are for. They can blow their own hands off and I can keep mine attached. I don't know.
As your door closes, she goes, "Don't do it!" And it.
I'm not actually gonna do it. I mean, I thought about it, but I'm not going. I really thought about it, but no, it's not worth it.
You're learning. It's good. Your character growth.
It's gotta happen eventually.
What, character growth or you blowing your hands off? Because I'm really 50-50 on either one.
The
Took the words
character
out of my
growth
mouth.
first, then maybe somehow blowing my hands off in a different way.
I mean, you wouldn't be the
Instead of
first
what
character in my story to blow your hands off. So there's that.
Oh
grow back.
God.
They do grow back. That's true. It does take
Oh,
several
God.
nights, but you'll get there. You have baby hands for a
Wait.
little bit.
Deadpool.
Deadpool hands.
Deadpool baby hands.
It is just like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Now,
Um,
moving on to my next group of people, the final ones that I have yet to touch on tonight. Tony
Uh-oh.
and Six. The mansion is bustling tonight. Many people have taken residence for the evening. There is some semblance of normalcy to it. The city, you know from your time here, has this sort of life to it. And you can tell that by the crowds, how it's feeling, the health of the city, whether it's on edge. And this crowd here tonight seems to be less on edge. There is almost no reason for concern.
Which instantly makes me suspicious.
Yeah.
Abby.
So I guess first thing Tony would do would be to either radio or text Six, and like, or check on what's going on with security for the night.
As Six is radioed or texted by you, Tony, she is also radioed by one of her people. One of her heads of security sends her a message. Ma'am, there's a suspicious person asking to see you and Tony.
Did you get a name?
He said his name was Arthur.
Well, fuck.
I'm gonna.
Did Mercy share that with y'all?
We'll meet him at the gate. Give us one moment.
I understand.
And she's gonna immediately send a message to Tony.
Well, Tony's gonna, I guess, go out and conceal a firearm under his jacket. And go to meet this guy out by the gate.
You are you both going out to meet him, or just you, Tony?
Wait, Tony's gonna go. If Six can choose whether or not on her own.
Tony, you exit your
Yeah.
building, the mansion, and you get outside.
I activate Fortitude.
Uh, there's
Love
a there's a man standing by the gate, smoking a cigarette.
He will just walk up from the step to the little garden thing that's there
God damn it.
and just kind of walk up and fold his hands in front of him, not actually say anything, and just wait.
Without turning to you to look at you and revealing his face, he says, "Are you the man of the house?"
The most recent one.
Fair. Any chance we could talk inside? I hear that this has been classified in Elysium these nights.
It is.
And I hear you protect all sorts of kindred that don't have a home.
See, Elysium starts at the gate you're sitting next to. It's not at the front door. Now, if you want, we can go outside. Or we can enjoy the night air and the inability of being overheard. Can I recommend the garden? And he'll gesture.
I know that cue.
Oh, I didn't actually. Oh, yeah, right. I actually forgot that I gave you a picture. But yeah.
Yeah, he did. He will walk ahead of you or beside you, however you choose.
Beside, we'll keep it.
The
equal for
hood
the
is
moment.
still up. Still can't really make out the facial features at all. As you get back to the garden, the man who has claimed his name is Arthur begins leaning on one of the stone benches or walls, and he goes, "Yeah, I was thinking about an occupational shift."
I want to make a note before we get further into the conversation.
Okay.
When they were walking out that way, Six said that she was there joining us. What I would like to do is, before these two walk off, I would like Tony to look back at Six, not say anything, look at her, and then look up at the roof, the balcony area where there's nice sight lines.
Well, the rouse check I did was for unseen passage.
So he would try and do that to empty air to like give her the idea like, hey, keep an eye on us.
Fair enough.
And
Yep.
walk back, seemingly just us.
So I've been looking to do an occupational shift.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. The problem is my current position. I have a lot of issues, a lot of eyes on me. It'd be really nice if I had a place that I could lay low for a couple nights. And I didn't want to oppose. I don't really fall into your conventional Hecata, but I like to think of myself as a little wayward.
Well, we're gonna have to start with introductions. I assume you're coming here. You know who I am. Let's be plain. Who are you?
And my name's Arthur. And currently, I'm not supposed to be here.
Why is that, Arthur?
Oh, business elsewhere should have me occupied.
Hmm.
Problem is, maybe you understand this, maybe not, Mr. Giovanni. Have you ever been asked to do something that you don't agree with by superiors? You ever asked to be part of something that you don't really believe in and you just want to get out?
Antonius will not say a word. He'll raise a hand, the thumb towards himself. Under the collar of his suit, pull on a little chain, and a dog tag falls out.
The head under the hood shifts to look at what you're showing. You do understand. Uh, it's kind of like that. There's all this turmoil in the city. My boss thinks I'm not here. Their boss thinks I am. I'd really like to not be, if you know what I mean.
Be here.
Here.
You're asking me for sanctuary. Temporary.
You could call it that. Yeah.
All right, let's talk for real. And he'll gesture over to like a long stone bench, and he'll sit down on one side of it, make room for another, like right in front of the fountain. Nice, like nice scenic place. Nobody else around. Quiet place to talk.
He will follow you.
You're right. This place is here to protect people. But I would be a fool if I didn't ask what I was protecting you from and why. Now, I assume you know my position in the city.
I'm loosely familiar.
I'm not a technical member of the Camarilla. I kind of am. I speak for those who don't have a voice. I'm kind of the oddball representative for all of the independents, the Duskborn. The Anarchs have their own little spot on there, but yeah, I'm here to protect people. But if that's going to happen, you're going to have to level with me. We're indicted to secrecy in this life that we lead. I know that. And I know you're not going to be able to reveal absolutely everything. We can't. It's the life. What I'm going to ask you is that you give me your story, why you want to do this. I'm going to need you to tell me almost everything, with the understanding that if I do grant you sanctuary in this place, and this turns into some half-baked trap, Splinter Cell, assault attempt, there's not going to be a choice but to have some very firm retaliation, and I'd very much rather not do that. So in the spirit of working together and trying to keep the people in this city who are, let's just say, pushed down by their superiors. Give me the rundown. What can you tell me?
I know for a fact that you've met with the Justicar of Clan
Mhm.
Ventrue. I work closely with that person. I have reason to believe that they're going to attempt to carry out an attack on the city. Not
Who
wide scale.
who is they? The Justicar?
The Justicar. I've heard from some of my other associates that they're attempting to take the city They're planning on either arresting or killing the prince in the next couple of nights. Something about the red list. And I'd like to not be part of it.
So, story time. I'm going to have to ask some questions.
It's fun because you know the other parts of the story, but you don't
Uh-huh.
know all the story.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Tony wasn't present when Mercy dropped off Fee.
Correct.
And this guy was the one who accepted the package. Did Fee, I do it too.
I know.
Did Mercy tell us about that? I think she did.
I believe that she did.
I'm pretty sure that she did because
Upstairs.
the name
In the master's suite penthouse, I think.
In the prince's room, throne room. Yes.
Yeah, when Fee revealed the whole plan to us.
Yeah. I think that was. I think
Okay.
that's when Mercy spilled her guts about all of that up to that point.
Cool. Okay.
Yes.
He's aware of that. He is not aware of what Lucinda told Mercy tonight.
Correct.
We got a talk text that actually is probably not even written yet because I assume this is all happening at the same time, right?
That would be a correct assumption.
Okay. Making sure I got the timeline
Yep.
lined up here.
Nope.
See, the
You're
worst part is there's gonna be so many texts going into this group chat, real quick too.
So you're telling me the Red Alistair is talking about putting folks on the red list?
I'm familiar with the Red List. I've helped fulfill several contracts on it. It is my understanding that your prince's name was added recently, as well as a member of your coterie, I might add. One surrogate childer of the prince goes by the name Mercy, I think.
That sounds about right.
These are the
And
most recent names.
mhm. And you want nothing to do with this. This strikes you as wrong.
My goal is. It feels wrong. It seems too soon. I don't know why Lucinda would act so quickly.
Okay. And I guess my next question is, why is it that you are seeking sanctuary instead of truly hightailing it? Is it that you think that you can't get away from her? Because it's probably a solid bet.
I mean, she is a bit of a legend, as you're, I'm sure, aware, being in this area
Mm.
specifically. Not just the fact that if she wants to hunt you to the ends of the earth, there's not really an end you can go to.
And you've worked with her, and she knows you.
Bingo.
So it's time to branch out, make some new allies.
There you go.
I get you. I have very personally been on the receiving end of some poor upper management in my time. Our clan is kind of famous for not putting up with that these nights. So, I have two questions for you. Let's go with the easy one first. The first part is, what are you looking to get from me? What are you willing to pay for it? That's the first part. Let's make it easy.
Well, as far as what I'm willing to pay for it, I suppose there's not really a monetary value I can attach to it, as I'm sure you don't need it anyway.
He shrugs.
I'd be open to negotiations on that aspect.
Fair.
For the first part of that question, though, what I'd like to get from you is an alibi. I'd like for the Camarilla to know from someone associated with them that they would listen to, that I didn't participate, that I was here, that I objected, if it comes to that.
I can understand wanting to get out. That's fair. So that brings us to the last part of this little interview, this heart to heart. And he turns in his seat and looks directly at him. In that case, would you mind telling me why you've been kidnapping Tremere and hauling them to a secret facility beneath Wrigley Field? Eyes go black.
Well, now that is an interesting question. My initial thought is to say, I don't know. You got the wrong guy. But I feel like we both know that that's not the correct answer. Okay.
Secondarily, for storyteller.
Yep.
I realize, so just so you know what Tony and the player is doing in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is, all right, I've hit you with the big truth bomb. He knows the thing. In this moment, what Tony is attempting to do is discern if what this guy is saying is actually truthful and he's actively regretting the things that he's done and actively wants out, or he's just trying to schmooze his way through things. And whatever role that you think would function for that would be cool. But the idea was to catch him off guard with this and see how he reacts into better. It's basically better to pull an insight.
I would say, give me an insight with, insight wits with
Probably
a
just roll.
+3.
Okay. Oh, so I have a secondary.
Go on.
Can I make a counter offer?
Yeah, I love those.
I have a specialization in intimidation with
Oh.
interrogation.
Yeah, absolutely. You can add whatever that is to the +3 as well.
Okay.
Is this
So
what it feels like to be witness to the bullshit I do on a regular basis?
Yes.
Yeah.
it
Yes.
is exactly.
You
that.
just watched it.
So okay, I'm rolling the intimidation.
Mhm, mhm.
What so would that go with wits? Would that go with intelligence?
Manipulation.
A stat?
I would.
Manipulation, perhaps?
What do you have higher in wits or intelligence?
I have higher wits.
Then I would go with wits.
And you said plus 2,
Plus-
3?
+3 and then plus your specialization as well. Whatever that works out to.
And I'm going to burn a willpower because I believe this is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Please, crit. Crit would be good. There's
Nice.
in there.
Beautiful. Wow.
4,
9?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Wait. 4,
Sorry, my
5,
memory
6,
was
7, 8, 9.
9.
With a crit.
Okay.
I didn't know that I was going to do it like this, and I forgot I had that specialization, but I was like, I'm going to be shit on this roll. And then I looked at it and like, oh, wait, that is exactly what I did.
So
Mhm.
I was
excited.
caught off guard by the crit. I choked
It's
on
beautiful.
my coffee a little.
I'm sorry, and I'm also not sorry. It seems like
It's
fun.
all coffee?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're drinking coffee at 10 o'clock at night, buddy.
I have extenuating circumstances. I've been awake for too many hours.
Did you say 9?
I believe that's 9 there. So 4 with those 2 10s is a
Yep.
4. 5,
4.
6, 7, 8, 9, including the 1 blood die.
Yep.
Oh my god, this fucker.
He got a crit,
But not enough.
but I got better. It's gonna be a wits off, maybe. It could be a wits off.
It's a tie.
Mm,
That's a tie.
It's a tie. But you
I do
guys
have 3
win.
full more that I can reroll.
You
but
guys
it's a
win
tie.
ties. So
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so he's rerolled 2. He's got 2 more that he can reroll.
Wait, do you have
Okay.
2 more you can reroll still?
He got that.
Okay, so now he's sitting at 10, and
Uh,
he can reroll 1 more.
Come on, Tony. Yes.
So even if he does spend a willpower and reroll another one, it's still a tie.
Yeah.
So that's 2 willpower down. I have to mark those.
Okay.
Forget, because I will.
Okay.
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 Arthur looks at you. There's a hint of deception in his voice, in his demeanor, in his body language that you've picked up on. Yeah, I've been a part of that.
Nice.
To be honest with you, I don't have a lot of love lost for the Tremere between you and I. But when your boss asks you to do something, you do what you do. I'm not going to pretend that I'm choked up about it or that I haven't been part of it. You wanted honesty? There you go.
Okay. Not here to judge you. We are. Shut up, Seamus. Seamus is right. Tony is not saying that. Not
Judge.
here to throw judgment around. You know what this mansion's built off of. I do want to know why. Hunters.
Honestly,
Is that bullshit I'm
everybody's.
smelling?
Give me a minute to get my sentence out.
Okay.
Honestly, I think everybody's working with hunters these nights, in some form or another. Don't you have one in there right now? Former. Sorry. I don't mean to be rude.
There's a bit of a difference between former and currently operating, but I do take your meaning. So, okay. So why? If you've been working for this lady and you truly choose to undermine her because you don't like what she's doing, give me why. Why is this mysterious vampire working with hunters? And out of character, I am absolutely trying to get information on whoever the fuck is actually doing this that isn't probably Lucid. See if I can get any motivations or any of that.
Fair. Listen, I've been an Archon for a while now. Why I'm directed to do what I do doesn't really fall into the job description. You don't get to ask. You just kind of show up and do the job, you know? But with what I know is going to go down in a couple of nights, with Lucinde and the Prince, I don't think it's going to turn out well, and I don't want to be there.
You don't want to be there. Okay. Don't you think that if this is going to go down, right? This is probably going to go down as some big, glorious, vampiric court. Yeah? Some
Something like
pomp
that,
and ceremony.
I imagine.
Wouldn't it be amusing if you were to pop out at the last minute as a surprise witness?
Amusing?
Wouldn't that really undermine what your employer was doing?
Amusing, maybe. Good for my longevity, not so much.
All right, so you're not an idealist.
No, I'm a survivalist.
Fair. So here's what I can offer. I got, bluntly, if you shack up here, people will come looking for you. It's a publicly known Elysium, and where's the first place people go around? All the Elysium. You can hide people away in them, but if somebody shows up with enough clout, they can still just go around and see all the rooms they want to see. Hiding you here, probably not the best idea. You give me some time, and I can probably hook you up with an off-site safe house that is going to be as safe as possible. You know, we don't get witness protection program, but believe me, something that's got a couch, cable TV, and a fridge full of blood bags that could probably endure the next apocalypse. Probably your best. I have a few of these bomb shelters around town. I would be willing to offer you one if you give me the time to set it up.
How much time do you need?
A night.
I could probably do a night. And
You got a place safe you got a place that's safe to stay until then?
I think I can find
Or
a
is this
spot.
it? Okay.
I might crash here if it's all right with you. But additionally, this comes with that alibi, that character witness statement, right? Say people come and wonder why Arthur wasn't at the Justicar's contract fulfillment of the Red List. My loyalties come into question. But I think I might have an answer to the first part of your first question, or the second part of your first question. Sorry.
Mm.
What I'm willing to pay. I know that your clan is not wildly accepted in the Camarilla, right? That's not really it's more of an open secret.
Correct.
I know that your current prince has been pretty amicable to you and those that you support, correct?
Reasonably. It's not been perfect, but what is?
If this all goes down, if Lucinde enacts this Red List contract on this prince, I don't know how the inner circle would take it, and it could potentially mean that spots open up. Maybe promotions are optional. If
My
that's
good
the
man.
case,
Are you offering me a seat of power in exchange for keeping your ass safe? Because I think we could talk about that.
I'm not offering that to you.
Hmm.
I've interacted with the Inner Circle member on an occasion or two, and I think that they at least know my face, willing enough to maybe promote from within, especially if somebody shows loyalty above all else to the Camarilla and not whatever's going down in Chicago.
Tony takes a minute, looks up. They're outside. How's the sky tonight?
Clear, starry, vibrant.
Loyalty to the Camarilla. You know, I think I like the sound of that. Tell you what. There are people who will probably be coming to this Elysium tonight that you most likely don't want to be around. I'm not sure if some of them are in there now, hence me meeting you at the gate. What this is going to look like is that we had a nice conversation in the garden, I pat you on the ass and tell you to leave, so it looks like we're not really doing business. Give you contact information, and tomorrow night, I will hook you up with a safe house.
Sounds like a good deal.
No payments or anything until everything is completed. We pay when we have earned it. At least that's what I've always thought.
You're not going to hear any qualms from me.
Can't believe I haven't asked this so far. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyways out of courtesy and respect. What's your blood? What clan?
There's hesitation in the voice. Notable, noticeable. I'm blue blood. Been true.
Yeah. There hasn't been many of them in this town lately. Couldn't hurt to have a few more. And Tony will stand up and offer him a gloved hand.
Another gloved hand clasps yours.
Shake. Just a hint of potence. It's one of those handshakes.
None is returned.
Okay. He will put his hand on Arthur's back, will walk him out the garden, back to the front gate, saying platitudes of a long and prosperous future. We'll see how everything goes. I'm sure everything will end up just right. And see him off.
He goes, can't wait. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
And walks down the road.
He will make sure he walks for a couple seconds before he walks back inside and shuts the door and just kind of raises his head, assuming she's probably already there, like, Six, you here?
I've been here the whole time.
Ah, you did the lot.
I did.
Did you get all that?
I did.
Yeah. He's a lying fuck, and that safe house is going to be a vault we're going to lock his ass in until it's a court time. I want a bank vault in a safe house that he is not going to get out of. We have a night to prepare. We need to get on this immediately. Here's the company card. We're getting on this now.
Jesus.
So Tony is going to plan on immediately betraying this man
Fair.
and locking him in a box until Lucind can come and collect his stupid ass.
Understandable.
Because if it goes the way I want, he will get his pay as he has earned.
If it helps, Six actually recorded the conversation.
Fuck yeah!
I love you so,
So much.
much.
There's a moment of like these two like very like high like class looking vampires in like a big room full of other vampires, and it's just like a very subtle like fist bump before they go off to start doing things like, oh fuck, there's a text from Mercy. Okay. Yeah,
On that note,
yeah,
as you enter into the mansion, the text from Mercy is received by you all, and you can plan on where you would like to meet up for this evening. But I feel like that is a good spot for us to take a quick break, unless there's anything pressing
Yeah,
beforehand.
Just one more thing. There was also a text from Roland saying that Annabelle says that Nova's going to be hit in the next 1 or 2 days.
fantastic.
So, with that information shared, now I feel like that is an even better spot for a lovely little break. So, with that, 5-10 minutes, restrooms, drinks, all of that fun stuff. Don't fill your drink in the restroom. That's usually a bad idea. But see you in a bit. Oh, I wish that I had come back when you said double fisting, but I was not quick enough. I tried so hard. I heard it coming, and I was right there.
Very good.
Oh well.
Very good.
Anyway, since I'm not coming back to the double fisting comment, welcome back, everybody. Here we are. It's a game.
Subscribe to my-
It's
no,
fine.
That's on
It's
another
fine.
channel.
Political intrigue is happening.
Political intrigue is happening. After nights of fights and prison breaks and Vozzed attacks and other bullshit, it's just words that you're fighting with these nights, and that can sometimes be worse.
It's nice to get back to what we actually want to be a part of.
Yeah, when you don't have to deal with the overly dangerous bullshit, you can deal with the secret dangerous bullshit. And on that, messages have gone out. Roland has posted to the group that Annabelle has information that Nova might be hit in the next couple of days, or something may be happening there. And Mercy has asked if you would all like to meet tonight to discuss things.
Feel like I should say, come on by.
In the same text chain where 2 messages ago she went full
Threatened
hog
you all.
on the threats.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's where we're at. What are you all doing?
Raggy specifically going to text Tony and say, should I come over to your place by chance?
God, yeah. Let's just make this easy and have everyone come here.
Phrasing? Are we still doing phrasing?
We've never stopped doing phrase.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's convenient because I just started rewatching Archer on Netflix.
Stop.
The coterie collects themselves at Giovanni Mansion. The interior of the mansion is lively this night. There are several bodies floating about.
Any notables, or is it just a bunch of people?
Bunch of people.
Wingardium Leviosa.
I would say that at this point they are becoming somewhat regulars. You're
Hell yeah.
recognizing different Hecata throughout the city that have come to find this as a suitable gathering place, and they feel comfortable in doing so.
Tell you what, I'm not going to drag this out, but Tony's going to make a note of all of these people, and I'll bug you for details in the downtimes later.
Cool. One that I will give you off the bat is a lovely young woman that you've come to know
Good.
as Lila. She has become quite the regular. Additionally, tonight, even people such as Mr. Lecter have graced the mansion with his presence. He's doing a
Probably
bit
got
of.
things to sell.
He's definitely networking, so
Uh-huh.
to speak.
Cool.
But yes, for the most part, these are the more notable of the denizens.
Nice. Okay.
However, you all arrive in your time. Nothing more happens unless you would like to do so. On your way to the Giovanni mansion.
Yeah.
Good? Everybody good?
I assume the copies of recordings are being made very quickly
Mm-hmm.
before
Yes,
everyone
that
shows up.
that is happening in time. In the
Okay.
time that it takes
Yeah.
for people to show up, you have the equipment and knowledge to make recordings of copies of recordings with very little effort. So, to that note, the coterie
Roland
arrives.
will come in with a box, huge box.
Roland's got a huge box.
Should I be concerned
You say that when he's walking in.
with the box?
Uh, concerned? No. No.
The way
This
you
is,
say that makes me more concerned. But he says it with a smile.
That's fair. Fair.
He just goes like this, back and points back to the rooms where we usually meet.
As you all go to, I'm gonna pick this one tonight.
The only notable thing
Alright.
about Mercy's entrance is that she's like got her hair tucked up in a hat, like a beanie.
Are you doing the superhero camouflage where you have like the baseball hat and
the
sunglasses?
sunglasses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Captain
I got my Clark
America
Kent,
sheet.
oh, it's Clark Kent. Oh, it's Superman. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Okay. People all rolling. So, yeah, perfect. How's everyone's night?
He set the box down on the table.
He will sit back in
Interesting.
his chair and actually go, "What's in the box?"
I got that reference.
Oh, hopefully protection. So this. He pulls out a suit. It is a scuba suit with shark mail on it.
Okay.
Well, it can't touch your skin.
Shit.
And shark mail is resistant to cutting, so it's not obviously not foolproof, but better than nothing.
On a fundamental level, I feel like you should also almost be offended by this, but I really like where your head's going.
Why offended? What?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, I know you were trying to pick up one of the grenades and throw it back. With this suit, you can do that, because in theory, it won't touch your skin at all.
God.
Looking up what the fuck shark mail is. I just want to see a picture of it.
It's just really tiny, light chainmail. It's cut resistant.
Okay. Man, I know this season's gonna end in the coolest way possible.
I mean, and it's tight enough that you could still wear your suit over it.
Yeah.
So, you know. We're not walking
Okay,
around
so
looking
I
like.
have ideas how to make this work. Okay.
Yeah, and it's literally only like 10 pounds.
All right.
And you always wear gloves.
Yeah, so
I do.
I have
Well,
one for everybody.
Excellent. That's very good preparation. So,
Amazon really likes Roland. We'll put it that way.
So
No, they like my money. There's a difference.
he specifically
For
looks
them?
over to Mercy and goes, "So, you guys want to hear something funny?
Can't wait.
Sure.
Arthur stopped by, and Tony will just hit the play button for everyone.
You all now know
basically-
what you already knew.
Yep.
That is very, very interesting news. How many copies of that do you have?
Kyle,
this
right
is-
now,
Not telling.
Infinite.
That sounds like a good number to me.
as
Not
many
Um,
as we need.
Infinite copies.
I on that note have something to add if
Please.
I might.
Can I get a
I
copy?
got
Just
the. I'm sorry.
I was talking to Tony. Okay.
Okay.
6.
I met with Lucinda this evening.
Oh, this makes it better.
Oh, what?
Yes. Well, I was spotted leaving Wrigley Field. And so my position as princess to be of the city has instead become a name at the bottom of a list. Right
I'm pretty sure
below.
it's not at the bottom.
Oh, well, I think you might be right. And I have reason to believe that the information that we need, this, in fact, is going to be very helpful, but from our other Justicar friend, is needed within 2 days, because that's when the formal meeting will take place, presumably at Nova with the prince. I think it'll be like a court, a formal court, if I had to guess.
Just note out of character. It wasn't the other Justicar. It was Portia.
Portia.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, right.
The
You're right.
Justicar is not said.
Portia
Yeah.
was going to give her testimony to the Justicar.
So if this is happening that quickly, one, to be clear, this asshole is going to be trapped in a. If it goes right, this asshole that I'm dealing with is going to be trapped in a vault until time where he can be presented to the court. That's my plan. There's always going to be a wrinkle. Other things that we can actually do. Speaking of, it sounds like we need to get some rich bitch or Stanley mug, right? From the labyrinth.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to get
Yeah.
her Stanley.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to backtrack a moment here. I would like to clarify what I have said, because I've thought about my words and realized I've made a mistake. Aside from mixing up our Justicar and our Portia. First, people say she had a meeting this evening, not necessarily specify that it's listened to the whole room in this moment. I apologize.
So you have his recording.
Which is evidence.
Yes, and he really admitted to a lot there.
He did.
Is that, do you think that's enough that we don't have to get Portia's testimony?
Okay, so here's the deal. These are old cranky bastards. They need a avalanche of evidence. And if basically it's going to be worth our time to get Portia's shit. Not only in that it would be good to have an old kindred on your side that's going to help. She's going to help in the testimony. If we do it, that's a win for us. Worth our time.
I really hate giving that bitch anything.
I mean,
That just
fair.
means that you're
but-
cautious.
So the other thing we've realized from between you being told that you have 2 days and Tony being told that your name is already on the list, that all shows the collusion in cutting out the Red Alistair.
Uh-huh.
Because he has information then that he should not have yet.
Also, Annabelle has information she shouldn't have.
Yeah, how the hell has Annabelle got the
Portia.
Portia?
My understanding is that Lucinda isn't even aware of Arthur's presence in the city.
Well,
Is she
I know
now?
who I want to open that vault door.
Mercy will look at you, Egret, and not answer. And you get the impression that she is simply being cautious and not trying to be a pain in your ass. But she'll kind of look at you and
That knowing shrug. Yeah, she knows that Mercy shrug.
yeah, sorry, I should look at the camera while I do.
She might as well have gone. Oops.
On the other note, perhaps we need to tell Sui about the other thing.
Cryptic.
No, he'll look at Tony and go, we had a conversation, buddy.
Oh, right.
Ygritte points.
I'm tired. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I get it. We have a lot. It's a lot of information.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
We really packed it all into this evening.
Yeah.
True.
Just honestly, fucking tell Fee everything. If you ask me. Okay. As somebody who came up in old Clan Giovanni, I'm going to tell you stuff you probably already know about abuse. You know how it fosters? When it's allowed to be isolated. And you don't have outside help at all.
Yeah.
That's the thing, Tony. You know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta keep my nose clean. That's why I
She's-
told Roland everything.
Yeah, she thought she could handle it. And then she told Big. So then I disseminated information because, silence hurts everybody.
So, here's a fun question that I don't think. Okay, playing with demon shit, right? I don't think this technically breaks the rules of bounds of secrecy stuff. Does the thing that you've been asked to do explicitly involve being secretive about it or just getting it done? Because if it does not involve having to be secretive about it, what is the most direct way, perhaps, to do the thing? Maybe directly asking them and telling them the entire reason why. I thought it would be a good idea. You haven't
Well, that's-
violated a stint.
That's the thing. It told me to try and convince this person because it doesn't know who did it. It
If you
told
ask
me to get them to do this thing, and I'm like, I was trying to get out of things, and then he's like, okay.
Tell Fee everything, and more importantly, why. All the information, exactly whatever the changes are, very specifically before actually doing it.
Yeah, if you made a deal that you need to get her to do it, Doesn't matter. If he
Okay.
didn't say, don't tell
If
her.
it is presented to her, and she sees, as we can assume, what I'm just guessing that she's really adept at this whatever, because Fee is adept at everything.
My whole thing was I was just hoping that she'd already erased it, and I could be like, "Well, look, I'm sorry, it's gone."
One way to find out, but yeah, you need to get that taken care of before we go labyrinthing.
Yes. Because the labyrinth has a way of between worlds.
Yep.
Yeah, last time I went to visit Clancy, after I'd started with the book, I got real woozy.
Then we need to deal with that real quick.
Also, Tony, he keeps looking like you, and now I finally understand why. After seeing him inside the portal thing, that motherfucker is ugly.
Fun fact. I found out what it actually looks like. I found old references, and I'm not allowed to say it. He's saying out loud in character.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really say those things out loud, but storyteller, if Tony were to, I don't know, offer a separate book that he would have found those answers in, because he did,
Mm-hmm.
to Ygritte, to give the information that he learned without actually saying it himself, would that get around the thing?
Roll a d10.
Great. Nice.
I'm not worried about that at all.
Are you attempting to do it?
So, let's just say this room's a library. Tony does one of these. He gets up and he walks over to a shelf. Tries to pull the correct book off of the thing and bring it back.
You do?
And kind of like drop it on the table in front of Ygritte. I'm going to send you stuff because this is what I found before and I want to make sure it's legit.
You get a tingly sensation in your fingers, but that seems to be about it.
I'm so concerned.
Cool.
She reaches out for the book. Is she able to grab it?
Yeah, you can touch the book.
Cool.
Sorry, messages are going your way.
Cool.
Mhm.
To Matt, that is.
Oh, yes, my messages. Yes. That is correct.
Okay. Is that page okay to send her?
That is the information that you got with your occult rolls, and yes,
Okay.
you managed to share.
All right. So, for the purposes of our story tonight, and to I'm going to send a link to Ygritte on the Discords for our viewers. What it looks like in the game space here is it is an old leather-bound book that looks like it is old Arcana stuff, like some weird looking, like Necronomicon looking shit. Not
Some light
like
reading.
light reading. There you
More like dark reading,
Also-
but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Also-
was gonna make that joke too.
Also, Scarlett, I'm really sorry that I'm going to hit this button, but Merry
Oh
Christmas.
no.
Ugh.
That's the appropriate response.
All
Okay.
the information on that page you have now. Read it all at your discretion. That's it.
That's
Tony will sit back and be like, with all
That's
of my
something.
occult diggings externally to that book, there are references of this thing through history. I can't say his name, but
If you attempt
Ah.
to as well, Ygritte, you also cannot say that name. Not just because it's hard to pronounce, but also because you are not allowed to say that name.
there are sightings of this thing through history,
What
and
name?
it is amusingly not so different to our kind. I'm not surprised it tried to take root with kindred. We have a similar thirst. But that's what I got. I hope it's useful to you.
Any kind of information is useful. Okay, so we have 2 nights. We need Portia's sippy cup. And
Gotta
we need
deal
to take care of this.
Take care of that. And I have
We have bolt to build?
I have a bird cage to build, yeah.
We have enough to do in 2 nights, but I suppose I should also. Speaking of Fee, she came to visit me earlier this night. Said I should work with y'all on the weird Zamisi problem that we seem to have as well.
Yeah, that's another problem. Do we want to spitball theories on that? Because it really feels too convenient that that is here now when all of this shit is going. I highly suspect that's Arthur's. Arthur is the bitch of the Dracula, is my guess. I don't have any facts to back that up, but it feels right.
So I wouldn't think he'd be working with all of that because that seems like a lot to deal with and keep secretive about because that could come and bite him in the ass.
Everything he's doing can bite him in the ass.
But I think this working with the Sabbat is a completely different play. I think he may have dropped information to get that here to cause problems, but I don't think he's in collusion so much as opportunistic in that fashion.
I
Okay.
simply would like to remind you in this moment that we had Tzimisce guests at Nova fleeing from their ancient older creator.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, no, we did didn't we figure out that this sorry, English went right out the window.
Fine. Fine.
Feel free to
We
use
did
German
figure
or
out-
French or whatever you prefer.
that
Charades.
Jack and bitch face.
Claymore?
No.
No.
Bitch face.
Opera bitch face. Old
Opera bitch
Oh,
face.
oh,
Got it.
yeah.
what's the old lady. Anyway, her. The old lady. Were siblings?
Yeah.
Zana.
Zana,
So-
that's right.
Yeah.
That Jack and Zana were siblings.
Well, that's bad. You're
Yes.
right.
And
We did
there's
figure
me.
that out, though.
And there's Smeatsy.
And they were running
Yeah.
in front of the
Claymore,
river.
Smeatsy.
Mm-hmm.
Zana
Claymore's
was running from her.
Not Tzimisce.
No, that's right. It was
Claymore's
she's
Lasombra.
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 Why Braggy wound up the way he is.
Right. But so I think we can kind of figure that the one you keep calling Dracula is probably Zana's sire.
And also the side
Jack.
of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Who's got the connection to Magdalena.
Mm-hmm. If I recall correctly, if the stories are true, Jack is the one that killed her when she was immortal.
Yes. Maggie said that as
Our
much.
prince was a Ripper victim in life and then brought back.
I would like to add to this, dragging us back to a previous conversation, but that seems relevant in this moment. I'm also under the impression these nights that perhaps the goings on in our city across these last months, and especially in these recent weeks, may have something to do with the same person who caused trouble in Paris. I'm so sorry, Matt. What was the specific thing that you said about that tonight?
There was, well, in 2000.
Yeah, it's been-
What do you know? You would have known.
Did she mention? Never.
Lucind would have said it to you in a way that she feels like there could be a connection between what happened to the Tremere in Vienna. I may not have said that.
You did.
Okay.
I picked it up.
That
Okay.
feels correct. Time has passed and other people had said words, and so it was gone. So yes, then she will share essentially that there may be a link between what's going on in the city and the incursions in Chicago that have been happening, and the players that held the power in the fall of the Tremere in Vienna.
So that's historically very relevant. To be clear, for all those who don't remember, the Vienna thing, that's where the Second Inquisition was formed. And they took out all of the Tremere leadership, roasted them. It was a massacre. If
Wasn't
dealing
that
with
where
the
we
thing-
also wasn't that also where we heard that the first use of the red mist was?
I don't know if that was it, but that sounds right.
That was
That
something in
also-
my notes.
That rings a bell for me also.
Sounds right. So if we're dealing with the people that made the modern incarnation of vampire hunters, period. That's big. Unfathomably big. This has happened once before in recorded history.
I wish I could be surprised at this juncture. I really, truly do. But with two just occurs, a Methuselah, and let's just add in, the hunters. Yeah, let's add in that, because that's yeah.
So, for the sake of both player and character being confused as all get out, in character, Braggy goes, can we slow down a little bit here?
That's fair.
Because there's a
That's fair.
lot of history going around right now that I am unclear on.
And in fairness to you, it's important to me. It's not important to you. The Dracula is real bad and has potentially had a hand in major vampire politics and major historical events, some of which that have almost killed off a whole clan. That's what you need to take away from that.
Okay.
This is years back, which in context doesn't mean anything for what it matters in your life, but it means this thing has been working that long to fuck with the Camarilla. If this is true. And it seems like it is.
Yeah.
So the long and the short of it is we just found out that our big enemy is really bad and probably really powerful.
I have.
Fee,
Please go ahead.
Fee mentioned a few things in conversation with her, one of which was Jack, which, in truth, I'm not sure if I was ever aware or have simply forgotten that Jack the Ripper was relevant here.
Yep.
And also,
He was in town. He died here.
Yeah.
Maggie ate
I
him.
hope it was.
I helped.
Oh, good. Oh, good. At least he went out painfully. The other thing is that she mentioned there were several random disappearances, quotes around that, throughout the city of various, drifters, vagrants, but they're so random and spread throughout the city, there's no discernible pattern that can be detected. Fee looked through police records of missing persons, but I'd wager a guess that they were. This thing can move fast. This thing can.
She and I
move
were looking into this.
quite-
Yeah. So, the best guess that we've come up with for this, I didn't have a lot to work with after that jailbreak, so I tried to research our enemy as much as we could. That's what I do. And you basically retold what we found, so thank you. I don't need to go into it. But extrapolating from that, maybe not like the labyrinth, but underground probably. Seems to be where this thing is working, in the sewers, in the back alleys, pulling vagrants off the streets. This is like, which tracks with the MO. This is an old predator that views humans as cattle and just yoinking homeless off the street to shapeshift into these monsters is not out of their playbook at all. This is right on point. The concerning part for me is building an army has reason for that. It has a battle to fight. We don't know what that target is specifically, except that our coterie specifically probably made it mad.
Does anybody told you that this is how Sabbat create war? They just take a bunch of people, they quick embrace them all, and then they send them out to fight.
Yep.
Because they do not care. So there's not going to be rhyme or reason behind bodies disappearing. It just means they're revving up to send a bunch of them to war because they don't care about whether or not they live or die.
The concern that Fee had, at least when she talked to me, was less that it was a shovelhead situation. Spoilers for Braggy. That's the funny catchphrase that the Sabbat do for these quick embraces. They hit someone over the head with a shovel and then turn them into a vampire and don't tell them anything. Less of a shovelhead situation here and more of a Vazd war golem situation. Remember that big fucking thing that we fought in the battle to get our prince into custody?
Mhm.
She thinks there's like
5 of those more.
something like that. With as many bodies that are disappearing, there could be as many as 4 of those fucking things.
For additional or for total, you think?
Yeah.
Oh,
Could
that's
be more.
fair.
Terrifying thought.
It's bad.
Speaking of war, the last communication I received from Graham, my point of contact with A, who, if I haven't been abundantly clear, I am fairly certain is the Inner Circle member of Ventru at this point. If in case anybody's questioning that, I feel pretty confident in this assertion. In fact, no, I'm not getting into that. I'm sorry. But I had contact with him after Wrigley. And the only thing that I heard from him at that time was to head underground and try and hide from what is going to happen next. I don't know because I have not been able to contact him again or since if it was before they decided I was no longer on their team or if it was something to try and get me out of the way. But that was what the message was about. How long has it been, Roland, since you've checked that line for security? I don't mean to cause offense. I simply was concerned, all things considered.
I mean, with the one without you or one with you?
The one with me.
Oh, I kind of gave up on that one because you
Good
told us to.
information machine then.
Yeah, yes, that's fair enough. I simply wasn't
Good
sure.
job, by the way.
Mercy? Did
So-
you just tell Mercy good job?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm sure she's flattered. She looks it.
So, the sense is the enemy is literally brewing their forces right now.
Mhm.
We have time. We should be utilizing it. If we have anything that we can do to counteract this in any way, we need to put all of our forces toward that very quickly. Because they've already had time to work on this, and we're sitting in this room just talking and not doing anything yet. So they have a little bit of a head start on us. Let's pretend, beyond the missions that we have to do, we're getting the cup, because that still must happen. And I'm willing to help with that as soon as you're ready to make that journey. And besides the court that we're going to have, where whatever political bullshit happens, the, air quotes, the Dracula is a combatant threat. What can we do to deal with potential violence that everyone who is hearing about this is trying to go underground about?
I'm not sure if this answers your question. So forgive me if I am derailing us. But it is my understanding that with the force of Justicars and their help in the city, they are under the impression that despite the power that our prince has shown and the support that she has had in the city, if should they choose to act on the red list, the prince will likely be dead by the end of the week. Whether or not I die before or after that is not an important question in this moment. I'm under the impression, again, that if we can present evidence to tie someone else, someone not the prince, to the kidnappings of the Tremere in the city, the underground research facility, and the incursion of hunters, because all of those things now are being pinned on the prince, that we might be able to stop these things and shift the goal of the Justicars.
You mean like the recording that we just got tonight?
And your verification that you have seen the associates of A speak with hunters.
I was a bird outside of his window, yes.
It's currently my word against theirs in most of these arguments. And so any sort of more solid evidence, exactly like this recording you've played for us tonight, and your willingness to speak on pain of final death at this meeting, may help.
They like to say that I'm on the Primogen Council, so there's some clout there. Hopefully we'll see. I'll still be I'll be a fish in the pond, but I'll be the littlest littlest of all of the fish in all of the pond.
Well, I'll be there
Barely a
too if that
private.
makes you feel better.
It doesn't.
Color
So-
But then the good news is, if we get this thing for Portia, she has promised me that she will speak to Diana on Magdalena's behalf and corroborate her story.
Which means that that cup that you need to get is currently priority number 1. The only thing that is more priority than that is that I put Arthur in a box. And that might take 5 minutes. I highly recommend, as soon as possible, we do that. We need to secure as much information as possible.
Yeah, I have to, but before I can go in the labyrinth, like you said, I should probably take care of this demon thing.
Which means you have to go right to the place that you just got told not to go to, right?
Yep.
Fees at Nova?
Yeah.
You just got told not to go to Nova?
We got told we
You should
basically got
stay.
told Nova's unsafe.
And if we need to, we can go to the Succubus Club to be safe.
Tell you what, we need to get this shit moving. Again, the enemy has time on us. I recommend, if we can, storyteller, how much time's left in the night? Not necessarily our game night, but in
A
real time.
considerable amount. I would say more than half.
We should take you to Fee tonight. See what we can do. If possible, I don't know if it'd be a wise move to try and go into the labyrinth tonight, but it should be before this. That cup needs to get secured and in Portia's hands before 2 nights pass. So it's either tonight or tomorrow night after I pull Operation Birdcage.
And again, I mean, no offense. Do we need Egret to make an attempt to find this sippy cup?
Yes, it's my job. Portia tasked me with it
Okay.
because I have a relationship with Clancy.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's what I propose.
And also, if someone else does it, she'll get mad because I'm not supposed to tell anybody about it.
Oh,
Me-
well, then I know nothing.
We didn't hear anything. Here's what I propose. Get a drink here if you need one. I say we jump in cars and head over there in 10 minutes so you can have your meeting with Fee. Get that dealt with and all of whatever complications will come with it. And then
Cody.
either
I get to show you my new car.
you got a new car.
I got a new car.
Color me interested.
You'll like it.
She has to have some enjoyment in these terrible, horrible nights.
Mm-hmm. So
The target on my head is larger than ever. I was hoping that I could perhaps travel in a minimum of a pair for the nights to come. But I wouldn't necessarily want to put your new car at risk.
Roll with me, Mercy. I got you.
The target is on both of us, in fact. 2 different ones, but also quite large. Less sure that that's a useful pairing, but it's not alone.
I mean, yeah.
I'm less, stupidly perhaps, less concerned about Braggy's immediate pursuers than my own.
I mean, the Mr. Water Heater van's probably fixed by now.
Yeah, it's fixed. We're going for a ride.
Sounds lovely.
Sorry, Seamus. I'm not sorry.
I know.
Work at a TV station's commercials are never ending. Yeah. Let's get moving.
Okay. We find ourselves transitioning. In this moment, I will ask, how's everybody doing? IRL.
So good.
Well, it is definitely getting closer than we would normally
Right.
sleep. And in game, the characters have to get moving, but I would not, as I am tired as shit,
Hmm.
I would not be opposed to having this stuff happen next episode if need be.
That is kind of
I'm
the
cool.
option that I was going to present,
Just
depending on
now that
how.
all the exposition's out of the way.
So, um, we
It's
could
a good choice.
wrap it up quickly if that would be good. The
I
meeting
think
with
that's
Fee,
probably our best.
if you got a little more in
Okay.
the tank.
Yeah.
I could do another 20 or so.
I was going
Okay.
to say, normally we wrap up in about a half hour from now.
Okay. Y'all make your way over to Nova. The bar itself is open. Patrons, normal night for Nova. Busy, though there are some absentees. You do not see Will. You do see several security having returned from the location that they were moved to. But Will is not in his office. Will's office is actually locked, closed. Val's behind the bar, doing her thing. Normal crowd of people at Nova. The same mix of mortal and kindred that you're used to in days gone by. As you are here to meet with Fee specifically, you know where she resides, and you have access to go there. Is there anything that you're doing down here?
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Tony presented Yeager with a book. Do we bring that?
Oh, I totally brought it.
Good, thanks. That's all I have.
Okay. It is
It went
noted.
right in bag.
Okay. Make your way up the familiar elevator to the penthouse / throne room. The ding of the elevator is met with the clicking of rifles as 4 or 5 of them are trained on you all as the doors open, before realizing who you are and lowering. Will's
That seems
security
about right.
staff. Will's security staff. Familiar, hand-picked mercenaries that you all have worked with, though you may not recognize them as they always wear coverings. Lower their weapons and radio back further to others. Fee comes out of her office and gives you all like an inquisitive look. What can I help you with? If you're all here, it can't be good.
I'm flattered.
No, it's definitely not.
So Ygritte just bursts right into word vomit. So I'm not sure if I talked to you or the prince pretending to be you about this book that I found. And a thing from the book
Hold on.
talking to me.
All of you out, and the security leaves, so you are alone.
Oh,
Tony will
yeah.
post up as the door as ad hoc security
Fair.
on the inside.
The elevator goes down. As the doors have closed and the elevator begins to descend, Fee goes, okay. Continue. Apologies. This felt like a conversation that they don't need to be part of.
Fair. So it limits what I can say about it. So
Mm-hmm.
did I tell you about the book from the labyrinth?
Yes, I do
Okay.
recall the mention of an artifact.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I talked to you about it or if I had talked to the prince pretending to be you. So, this book. So I met the entity in the book when we were going through the portal.
Her eyebrows raise in intrigue. That
Um,
seems unique an experience based on what I know of that.
so I had made a deal with it previously. Um, and then when I was in there, it changed our deal. Um,
Go on.
it wanted me to get you to change certain sigils on the portal. And then it wanted to. And Storyteller, of course, just stop me if,
Sure.
you
Yep.
know.
No, I'm listening.
And then it wanted to take my body for a test drive for a night. And she's going to pull out a piece of paper, and I'm assuming the entity put the sigils that she needs in her head.
Yeah, you can recall them.
So she just kind of like draws it out.
How artistic are you normally? Egret.
Not very. Not very.
The picture that you draw looks like a Da Vinci sketch compared to your normal stuff. It's almost like you're a printer.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Meep.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I can't.
I hate all
She gives it to Fee.
He looks at it, turns it. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can see where these would fit.
Oh, also this. Egrid, give her the book with that bookmark page on it.
Oh yeah. And she pulls it out, and she,
I can't say the
Tony.
name, but that's as close as I can pull up to what this thing is from historical research.
Fee opens the book that you have found, looking at the information there laid out. She flips a page or two. Well, I have good news and bad news. Which do you want first?
Go with the bad
Okay.
news first.
Well, the bad news is this isn't a demon.
How's that the bad news?
Because
It can be worse.
It could be
Hmm.
worse.
Okay, what's the good news?
Well, the good news is you probably have its true name. That'll help you out a little bit. To go along with the bad news, though, this is worse. Like they said. Think demon, spooky, scary, bad. There's been accounts of kindred and demon interacting, making deals in the past. Not entirely unheard of. This would be the thing that those demons would make deals to get away from. This is the big bad. This, honestly, and she looks up at you, Braggy, she's got you beat.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
That's about the worst thing I've ever heard. God damn.
the big bad that's after you most of the time? Shit. This might be the first time you really heard Fikaz. She goes, shit. I would much rather be. You know what? I want to focus on the Methuselah. Let's do that instead. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Um,
I have so
Well-
many questions.
it might be more important, in this case, that we do in fact focus on this.
We gotta
Okay,
get this
well,
thing off
because
her
we have-
back so we can go into the labyrinth.
Yeah, we have to go into the labyrinth.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, wait a minute. You want me to add / adjust sigils in the circle that is back there.
That's what it wants.
Okay, but did you make a deal with it to do that?
My deal was to try to do it.
Careful on the wording. Very seriously here. What was the wording?
My deal was that I would attempt to either have you change it or change it myself.
Okay. In that case, would this be your attempt to do so?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Fee, would you like to change those sigils?
I guess I have a follow-up question. Do you think that it would be beneficial for you if I followed through with what you've been asked to do? Do you think it would be more
me-
beneficial for me to do this because it was your attempt, or do you believe that in not doing so, because I can tell you, based on my understanding of that, and she gestures back to where you know the large sigil on the floor, the circle on the floor is. Based on my understanding and the fear on your face, adding these, changing these, it's not like opening a door. You're not letting it out.
Oh, good, because that's what I was afraid of.
Hold on. Just because you're not letting it out doesn't mean what it's doing isn't awful and terrible.
Okay.
This, and she opens up the book to the page, showing you all what has been discussed. This thing, getting out isn't necessarily what it wants. It's not. I don't. Okay. Let me put it this way. I've been researching the occult for the entirety of my unlife. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Again, Chicago never ceases to impress. I don't even know. And you can see that she's like really thinking on what she is being asked to do, and seeing how it could possibly play into what this thing might want. And she goes, I really don't understand what these would do. That's the scariest thing to me.
Out of
Well,
context, what would
you
the
s-
symbols do?
out of context, that back there is primarily a doorway between two places that are preset
Hmm.
by an individual. How you go, how you went. These don't even alter that functionality. They don't make the barrier less, they don't make the destination different. They don't fundamentally change that much. And what they do fundamentally change is really boils down to, for the two of you coders here, semantics.
Sounds an awful lot like the semantics of a deal, doesn't it?
So it asked me who I thought it was threatening me, but it asked me to name one person that I would not want to get hurt in all of this.
Oh, I misspoke. Not semantics, syntax. That's the word I meant.
I was about to say, syntax sounds more apt here.
That's what I meant.
We're all tired.
It's true. Apologies.
So I feel like there's some big danger that it's going to cause.
Maybe.
Also, you said that this is the thing that demons make deals to get away from. Could I actually be dealing with a demon that is trying to get away from this thing?
I mean, in theory. In theory, you could be, but here's why I don't think you are. A demon, at least colloquially as we know them, and from the accounts that I've checked personally and looked into, they wouldn't invoke this willingly. It wouldn't be. It's not like you saying, "Oh, I'm actually rolling today. Help me out." It's not impersonating your boss. It's basically saying, "Hey boss, kill me now. I want to die. Come here. I've said who you are. I want you to kill me now." It wouldn't make sense for them to try. So that leads me to believe that what you're dealing with is this, or a form of this. Because honestly, it's easier to be described as like a thing than an it. It's more of an idea. It's more of a feeling. And for the first time, you all can kind of see this very uneasy, uh, just lack of understanding on Fee's face that you've not seen before. She's remained very composed through many situations. In this particular scenario, when discussing this thing, she is just really grasping at certain aspects and having a hard time.
Fee, you mentioned that the symbols change. It would be equivalent to syntax code being changed with what repercussions that understand?
Eh,
Like taking it a semicolon and replacing it with a return character or something?
I mean, I don't understand any of what you said. I know what a semicolon is. It would be like the equivalent of changing a semicolon to a colon, or a period to a comma. The smallest of changes, the most minuscule of effect that don't fundamentally change the functionality of the thing to my
But-
understanding of the thing. That bothers me. It bothers me that I can know so much about that and not realize. And she kind of pauses for a minute. And what if this is all just to confuse me and make me wonder? Maybe it doesn't do anything. Maybe it doesn't change anything. And she kind of starts to spiral out a little bit about like maybe she doesn't fully understand as much about this thing that she thought she did, or maybe she does understand as much about it as she thought she did, but this thing is just fucking with her now. Like there's some
But
second guessing to what she's doing here.
do not let this fucked up snuffleupagus get in your head, okay?
I can promise you right now, whatever it's doing, there's a bigger picture that to understand. If you change a semicolon to a colon, you're going to break an entire program. You're going to, completely break it 9 times out of 10.
It has to do something because the other option it gave me was to sneak in here and do it myself. And it was adamant about these symbols being changed. Or at least me attempting to. Like, it even threatened to take over my body right there and do it itself when we got out of the portal during the rescue mission.
This Egret, does this thing know what you know? Like as far as what, I mean, the location of this thing that it wants you to change? Does it know that?
I don't know. It doesn't give me all the information. It only enters my mind when I'm asleep. Or if I let it while I'm conscious. Like when I asked it the questions and got all the information about Portia. And the cup. That's why I've been so cagey about saying anything, because I feel like it would know when I'm back in front of the book again. Because it seems like it can really only interact with me when I'm near it. Or when I'm in the labyrinth. Because I feel like it still has a connection down there. And that's why we came here to take care of this. So that we can get the chalice.
Egret.
She turns to Fee as she says that last line.
Okay. As you do that, as you say what you're saying, Egret, in the back of your mind, you feel like a coldness spreading up the back of your neck. You can't say this to anyone. You cannot convey in any way. But you hear, "Oh, I'm always listening. I'm always here. Especially now."
She breaks down. She falls straight to the floor. And you see her start rocking back and forth. You just hear, I'm trying. I'm trying. I don't know what to do. I'm trying.
All right.
And this is the first time you have all ever seen Ygritte fully break.
Things.
Hey, Fee, maybe you want to do that.
Yeah. Fuck it. Fuck it. And she walks over and she begins to do it.
Hey, I owe you a boon. I asked you to do this. It's on me.
No, let it be on me.
Fee finishes. Minutes pass. The voice faded as quickly as it appeared. She comes back and she goes, I don't know if I'm speaking to it or you, but I did it. I did what you asked. You held up your end. Your deal is fulfilled based on the terms that I understand.
Ygritte stands up and she looks Effie directly in the eyes as best she can, and she goes, "Thank you." This is my bad. My fuck up. Whatever boons are owed are on me. I have plenty of on life left to fulfill them.
She looks back at you kind of softly and she goes, listen, a lot of this is fucked up. A lot of this is out of the realm of understanding. I have strong feelings that if it wasn't you, it'd be someone else. Maybe this is the path of least resistance and the easiest way. I don't know. No one does. There's no rhyme or reason to the tragedies that befall us in our own life. And this may not be one. So let's not worry about it until it is.
Can I make a recommendation?
I'm listening.
You might want to ask our kind prince that if we're doing court or if she's needing to be in a secure place, maybe it shouldn't be this room now, just in case.
That isn't a terrible idea. It is one that she won't like, but at least for the time being, probably not the worst idea.
I know she wouldn't like that, but it's always
Hey.
going back to the library, right?
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I can't imagine that's all you're here for, but fun way to start the night.
Kind of was. We got to go to the labyrinth.
Oh, right.
Unless B, you have anything to tell us about navigating safely through the labyrinth or finding something we seek in such a place. I know that you said you had done some study. I don't know if any of it might be relevant to us.
I have some notes, but I don't know that you'd understand them. And I can't go with you. Ygritte, as that is said out loud, in the back of your mind, the cold feeling approaches again. Says, I'll help for free.
Free? Nothing's free with you.
It is after you did that.
It says it will help us for free. I don't
Fuck,
know
that
if
thing
I
is
should
a
believe
kid's
it.
word.
Does that mean we want to do this tonight?
We don't have a lot of choice.
We have very little.
It seems as though it will help and is confident it can, it might be best to do it quickly.
It's
Keeps
either
its word.
tonight or tomorrow. There are no other choices.
Correct.
Tomorrow at the latest.
Fee goes,
I'd rather.
actually, I have a fun fact about the labyrinth.
Oh,
Should you find yourself in there after sunrise, I did a little test myself when I first got to town. You know that mystical sleep that befalls us all when the sun comes up?
Mhm.
Don't work there. You can stay up.
Hmm.
You get a
No
little more
wonder
time.
those fuckers are ahead of us. They don't need to sleep.
At least in my experience. For a night, I went from one to the other without needing to sleep the day.
Son
I
of a
don't know
bitch.
what the extent or limits are on that, but
The sun don't shine down there.
That's
And all
not.
that entails.
I've got a fun note for the head of security, by the way, if you want to hear it now.
sure. That's me today.
That's right. I hear from an associate who has been, in fact, ones that you met. We traveled together. They tried to stop our vehicle. That their connections with the hunters and perhaps other things are looking to bear down upon our city, especially you in particular, the prince, and perhaps this location. So while I understand that Maggie won't particularly like it, you might let her know that my concern is for her safety in this building, even given what I understand to be her strength.
Fee
The hunters, whoever that is, they seem to have plans for raising the city.
Fee goes, hold on a minute. Runs back to her office. Grabs a letter. Roland, it looks familiar. There's Okay.
The letter says that this place is going to be attacked in the next couple of days.
Okay.
Oh, and yeah, these are for you and Maggie, and he'll drop off to Suits.
Fair. Noted. Okay. Well, I was going to open this, but if you're fairly certain that that's what it's going to say, then I'll have Maggie do it so I don't get in as much trouble. Hmm. Okay. How many days? 2? Nights? 2? All right.
Too.
You mean roughly when
Oh,
court
also
or something
there's
is supposed to happen? Yeah.
probably a formal meeting happening in 2 days as well. Preferably not here if I had any vote in the matter.
I'm sure that timing is a coincidence.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. 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 You know, um, maybe it's me. I really am wondering if maybe it's me. Because the last time that I was in a place like this, um, well, I was watching my close friends and mentors burned alive, running out of my home in Vienna. And so, great. Just another fucking day in another fucking city.
I don't think it's you. This kind of shit happened before.
Out that.
In this,
Well,
Fun fact. How well do you manage vengeance as a motivational factor?
personally,
Yeah.
Well, um, I'm usually
Motivating or debilitating?
motivating. Yeah.
Cool. You remember that thing that I've been referring to as the Dracula?
Yeah.
The supposed Methuselah? Well,
Oh, it's
we're
not
putting
supposed. But
we're
go on.
putting pieces together, and we know it's using hunters, and there are apparently connections to the hunters that it's using, and the hunters that were involved in Vienna. They might be connected. We don't know that, but the pieces are starting to come together.
Fees kind of has a quizzical look on her face, and she says, "No, that doesn't sit right. That doesn't make any sense. This thing, by all accounts, was dormant. Even and didn't really show much motivation outside of the London area, even before that. I don't think they're connected."
No?
No, but why would you think they are?
He'll turn mercy.
Um, I've been speaking with a number of people who would rather I not tell you directly who they are. But it would seem that the same people who were involved with the hunters in the fall of Vienna are working now to sabotage this city across much of the prince's reign and perhaps the former prince even. From what they and I have been able to put together. My work with A. Again, I'm feeling confident that this is the inner circle member.
Fee's
But,
eyes go wide, and she gets a little more pale. I don't. She kind of stops, struggling for what to say. I had always heard rumors from those that survived that it was the Camarilla or someone in the Camarilla that turned on us in Vienna.
That's what we thought too.
I don't. I think it's highly plausible that would an inner circle member be that stupid?
an
Tony
inner
just
circle-
leans forward and looks at her.
an inner circle member who lied, cheated, or otherwise came into power in a way that was not truthful to what they desired. Do something like eliminate their competition. I don't know.
And eliminate
Old
the
ass
people
vampires.
and eliminate the clan that could dispute their claim.
Doesn't sound like something I think a kindred of such stature would do.
Okay. Motivating factor. I'm gonna figure out what that fucking did. And she points at the sigil. You're gonna go to the fucking labyrinth. You're gonna get the fucking thing, and you're gonna deal
Yep.
with that whole bullshit. I'm gonna tell Maggie when she gets back to address the issues. As of right now, the only people that know what is speculated upon are in this room. If I can find anything to corroborate as a witness, I will do my best.
2 days.
I don't think it'll help. but if you need to, you know where my mansion is? I have a little occult library. You probably have better, but if there is anything in there that will help you, those resources are yours.
I may take
Uh,
you up on that if it's safe to travel at any point.
Tony, did you tell her about the visitor you had?
Which one? Because this can get fucked. We talking the cloak and the knife shit from way back? Or-
No,
the
I'm talking about
cage.
tonight.
The cage.
The one you're building the
Oh.
cage for.
Birdie for the cake.
Right. Arthur.
Doesn't ring a bell.
It'll ring a bell with Maggie. She also met him.
Mention it
right
if you
before
like.
I put a stake not through her heart.
After we're gone. Arthur was one of the people working with the hunters and keeping the Tremere underground. Was the one to receive you
Ah,
once. And came over tonight to my establishment and wanted a safe house, a nice place to lay low.
I believe, to add to this, that perhaps he was to be the puppet master when they installed me as prince of the city.
He's also
after they took out
turning.
Maggie.
Isn't that what he said? He's turning on them?
Yeah, he doesn't like management now.
God, I honestly, I really just want to get back to my books. That's all I want. I don't want to do this anymore. I love Maggie. I do. I owe her literally my life. But
The little mutt, right?
When this is all over, you and I are going to start an occult book club, and it'll be very quiet.
she pinches the bridge of her nose and she goes, "Okay. I think we all have our plans. Say hi to Clancy for me."
Always.
And she
Stay safe.
pushes the
Can-
button for you all to go down.
Oh, Mercy will ask, can I
He's
have
like,
just
"Oh."
1 minute alone with you, please?
Yep. Yeah, you can. Sure. The rest of you go down. Mercy, you're alone.
Yeah,
Feels there.
she'll just look at her. I'm sorry to pile things on. And I would ask that you not communicate why I know this to be true. But I spoke with Lucinda, the Justicar of the Venture Inner Circle member. And she is why I have these suspicions. She has asked me not to share these things with with anybody. But I feel it is important that you know that is what I'm basing my accusations on. And it is her word that tells me that in 2 nights we will be having a formal meeting. And it's her word that has told me the prince and I are on the red list, and that she has been tasked with eliminating us by the end of the week. And she's doing everything in her power to give us time to prove that Maggie is innocent before anything else happens. Whether or not you choose to share that with Maggie, if you think it is relevant, if you think it is important for her to know or her not to know, I unfortunately leave to you. You know what's going on. That's all I have.
First, thank you. I appreciate the information. It is invaluable. Second, and I mean this with love, please get the fuck out.
Well, she says a second, and I mean this with love. Mercy turns and starts to walk.
As the doors
She waves
close,
over her-
she goes, I hate being part of this family. And just
Braggy's going to text Fee real quick too. I
No,
didn't blow
no.
off my hands.
No, no.
I didn't blow off my hands. Two of them, 10 fingers.
so, with all of that, everything. Apologies to my sleepy Tog.
Fine.
The
Good.
the evening's events come to a close. As next time, I believe we'll be picking up in a fun little underground place
Yay.
known as the
Abbey.
Labyrinth. Which means
Yay.
the night continues and no downtimes can be made. However,
I'm gonna try and do a few things.
you have initiated the process of making your birdcage. I will allow that because
Okay,
you can
that was it.
multitask in a fashion. For the purposes of full downtimes, negatory. 2 XP for everybody, as you are, hooray, still alive. And next week we will dive deep underground into a place of the machinations of my twisted mind. Yes, many things down there that are fun, and
Neat.
we will see. So yeah, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for joining me, and I'm gonna transition over to our end screen to end the video, so these guys can get to sleep, and me too.
Thank
but
you
good
for
night.
running Vampire for us. We love you.
Yes, thank you.
Don't praise me. I don't take it well.
You are so good at this.
So good at
So
it, and I
good at
wouldn't be
this.
here